Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first videos of something what I intend to be my first small series of videos on the YouTubes. The subject of this series, as you might have noticed in my channel, I do several different things. I post some things about music from time to time. I post some things about computer games like Star Citizen or a computer game named Tharsis some time ago. Then I post some things I find on the internet. For example, I posted some small video about how the online creation tool for names on Coca-Cola bottles would not allow you to put the name of the Führer. Okay, I would say I tried to speak English with a German accent now when using that word, but it's okay. Would not allow you to have his name on it, but would allow you to have the names of basically every other big war criminal, dictator, horrible person history of mankind has ever witnessed on it. So like he is still a singularity. And okay, and this will be my first series on computer programming. From time to time, I will make rants that only border the field of computer programming or overlap slightly or just lie a little bit beyond the border. So please forgive me for that. I hope this will be a little entertaining for most of you, and for those who don't think so, yeah, please forgive me. Okay, what am I doing? Recently, I've found some interest. No, I do not want to start another Fritz. I want to use this one. I found myself a little bit interested in chess and computer chess mainly. So I bought some chess software. I played a little bit of chess against software. I digged out my old Novak Piccolo chess computer from the 80s. Out of a box on the attic, and it still worked. The battery contacts were thoroughly corroded, but after cleaning them up, putting a fresh 9-volt battery in it, bam, it worked like a charm, and it killed me because it plays tactically very, very, very strong. And I know a little bit about chess, and tactics is really my weak spot. I read some books about chess, and I know a little bit about strategy, controlling the center, avoiding a bad pawn structure, some openings and things like that, but it does not help me because the computer will just spot a fork, it will spot a pin. I will lose a pawn, and all these little advantages he will gain on me will pile up, and so once it gets to the late game, he's ahead and he just kills me. So I have a little bit better experience with modern chess apps on smartphones, because they apparently are programmed in a way that they simulate making mistakes, and they do not have perfect tactics. So they have some kind of ELO rating. So I'm against those chess apps. I'm not playing a club player in anything, so I don't know my real ELO rating. But against those chess apps, I expect that I have like 700-800. Yeah, this is well below average and well below the starting ELO everyone gets, which is slightly above 1,000, I guess. So yeah, I'm horrible at chess. This is the baseline. But I'm really interested in chess software, so I got me this. It's called Deep Fritz. This is, I think, a little bit older version. I think there is a version 15 out now, but I got this software some time ago. And here is how it looks like. And what I intend to do with my programming task is not only useful for chess, but the basic thing behind it came from my interest in chess. So let's start it. I hope I will not disclose any information that will hurt me while doing this video. If I do, I showed this screen earlier for a second, and I know a second is long enough. Yeah, okay. Should be okay. This is my workspace. I checked this before, so I don't have to. Here are all my little private projects that have to do with programming. Small Python tools, small Google Chrome extensions, some simulation, some data. Here, for example, this project, it's called Solar. It's a big database of how much solar energy came from solar panels for a solar power plant. And I just cleaned the data up and tried to find damaged panels and then converted all into a giant Excel-based database and gave it back to some other guy. And he is using it to find out if he performed over the contract better than he was promising his customer to perform in the contract, or worse, because then he would get additional money from the customer because he thought he was better than, and some other stuff. I will not explain it in details. When a folder has the name of a programming language, there are usually a little smaller projects inside this folder that are done in that programming language. Yeah, but I would really need to clean up here. But no, let's not clean up. Let's make another folder and call it, no, we don't use capital letters. Let's call it chess, because it is something to test. Let's call it chess tunnel. Okay, so we make a text file. Okay. And here comes my first rant. If you know how to disable the Windows message that just popped up and warned me about the file would become unusable if I change its file ending, then please post in the comments, please, please. I Googled, I did not find it, and I hate this message because it comes up every single time and it's wrong and it does not bother me, and file endings are just a convention and nothing becomes unusable. Okay, chess engines, chess programs, let's call it chess programs. Chess programs have a graphical user interface. And I would even call it classical user interface, yeah, classical. A graphical user interface program. And they have an engine, chess engine program. And those two communicate over a protocol called UCI. There are some other protocols, but UCI is the most common. So this means, for example, here, no, let's go. Okay, if I can click 3 times, I will get it right on the last. Yeah, it's this window. So here you can see I have here some engines available, and I can pick one, and then this engine will make the moves when I play against the computer. And then here I can say training, and I can limit the time the engine has to think about a move. Somehow the program allows some like artificial. This is interesting. Yeah, okay, this engine has a rating of like very easy until very difficult. Let's try this. Yeah, I don't really like the UI of this. Earlier I remember that I could select some artificial ELO rating. Maybe it was with the Crafty engine. But because sometimes the menus change when you load a different engine, but no, apparently not. Yeah, okay. I think those things where you can, for example, can say it makes errors because it's drunk, etc. I think those are things. Here you can pick the ELO rating. Okay. But I think those are errors added by Fritz after there comes the perfect result from the engine. Maybe Fritz limits the amount of calculating time the engine gets, and maybe there are some other. Fritz is the name of the GUI program, because all the chess playing is actually done by the engine in any chess program. Okay, when I start the engine and let the engine analyze a position like this, now it takes like 2 seconds, and then the fans on my PC get really loud because the engine burns a lot of power. This is kilo node per second. A node is in the decision tree of a chess game is one node in this decision tree, and this means it evaluates 10 million nodes. Yeah, 10,000 kilonodes, so 10 million nodes per second. A powerful server with a lot more CPUs can do more. Parallelization is really, really difficult because there is some entity called transposition table, where transposition it basically is one board, one special setting of pieces on one board, and together with an analysis result in like a score. This is the score. Plus means that when I do this, then the thing will be slightly in favor of the current player, or of white. I don't know. I suck. Yeah, I think of the current player. And an information how deep the tree was analyzed from this node. So basically, if the chess engine encounters a position that is already in the transposition table, it will take that value and calculate resume calculation using that value. So it's some kind of cache, you can imagine. Okay, the transposition table can get really, really big, and there are a lot of hits on the transposition table. So having like several computers in a cluster is not really a good idea because they would not have a shared transposition table with a very good I/O performance. So the result of the cluster might actually be worse than the result of a very powerful single instance. And right now, only one project, the Ripka project, is really famous for having a cluster. And most other notable chess computers and digital chess champions go with scaling not horizontally but vertically. Okay. This is a little bit of background information, but it's not that irrelevant, so I will write it down. I will call it chess engine properties. First of all, they're really, really good. Then there are several different chess engines, and from time to time one of them is better than the others, and then the others, there are commercial and open source projects, and then some commercial project always needs to be on top notch because otherwise people would not pay for it, so they invest a little bit more in making their product better, and then they catch up. So the engines I know about, Komodo, this is a commercial engine, I bought it. Stockfish, this is an open source engine, I downloaded it. Fritz, this is a commercial engine that comes with the Fritz GUI. It's not so bad, but also not brilliant. Crafty, I don't know, it also came, I think it came with Fritz, or I installed it, but I don't think I paid money for it, so it must be like open source or free. Then one very important one, or very famous one, is Houdini. Yeah, okay. Those are names. Let's say most famous. Or not most famous, some notable. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they scale normally. As I said, there might be an exception. Scaling vertically. Additional to engines, there are big databases called books. For example, one engine might run on a supercomputer for weeks on 10 supercomputers for weeks, and then find a set of very, very good standard openings. And then it would just save, like, for the standard openings, the optimal moves, without all the trees and all the things, because that would have too much memory, and so it would be a comparably small database. But this would contain the computing output of some very, very tough computings, and so this book would come with the engine and allow the engine at the beginning of a game to play a very, very good optimal opening strategy. So books for openings. And also there exist books for endgames. There is this Shigi, I think you pronounce it Shigi. It's spelled like, let's do it like this. So I don't know, I'm not quite sure anymore. Let's have a look, because I know that some of those engines here, yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that. SZYGZY, like this? No. And I don't know how to pronounce it. I also immediately forget how to type it. And endgames. And this database, the database that shall not be named, I will call it like that from now on, because it cannot be named, has like all end positions with 6 pieces or less, and knows the perfect plan, the perfect solution, and the outcome of this endgames. Yeah. Okay, what other things did I tell about chess engines? Yeah, they are pretty optimized, so they use a lot of the computer's programming power. So my computer fans are still running at top notch, and you see it's still doing calculations. Now it has a depth of like 19 moves, so it's calculating 19 moves ahead, and it says the S, it means Springer in Germany. This is the knight. The knight should go from G8 to F6. So like, it's flipped. So like this one to this here, and this is the best move. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I think it's probably right, because the computer says it, and it has calculated like 10 minutes now. So they consume a lot of power, CPU. So a good chess engine is easily capable of using 100%. And the chess program has some measures. For example, this only runs of 3 of my 4 cores. I can set it here because I want the computer to have 1 core completely free for other stuff. So I would not run into issues. Okay, what is the task I wish to do? I hope I put it also in the description, or in the comment to the, or in the description of the video. So if not, thank you for your patience and staying with me. Task. This is background information to show you my motivation. I want to have a chess server so the engine would run remotely. For those who know the chess software, yeah, I know this feature exists in the chess software, and I will now explain why I want to do it differently. So just to show you the existing feature, I can click here on, I think it's an engine, and then Cloud Engine. And then I have a list of engines, and they cost money, most of them. This one is free, others cost money. And you can attach them, you can buy them basically, or for example this one is for free now. It's called A Lost Game. Yeah, it's for free. Wow. Okay, it runs on a very tiny PC, so that's the reason why it's for free. For example, I can do this. Yes, I will not pay. I want to have it, and now I'm using it, and now I can. Now the calculation is done by this Hierarchs engine, and you see the this thing dropped by like 2 digits, yeah, or 1.5 digits, and it's still finding the same move. Yeah, but only because this move is so obvious. And yeah, and what I said earlier, that this number is for the current player, this is not correct, because then the highest number would be on top. This is for white. So I'm black now, and so white has a slight advantage at the moment according to the engine, and yeah, because it's a starting player in such an early phase of the game, I don't think black made a critical error yet after like 2 moves. So, and this is the move that would keep the advantage for white the smallest for the engine. Okay, so you see this engine is the Hierarchs engine, and it's connected to some chess book and some other chess book, and I don't know what EGT is. And exactly, and you can browse here and then connect to any engine you would like to out of that list. And if you want to put up an engine on a server yourself, you need this chess software, and then you put up the engine, and then you log into the server and go into the graphical user interface, and then you say, I want to share my engine publicly, like I'm doing right now with my Commodore engine. I'm sharing this publicly right now here in this window. And then if you share it privately just for yourself, then you can use it on another PC. So they are advertising it here with, let's stop this. Yes, I want to stop it. They're advertising it here why this is so cool, because you can several engines at full speed from a single window, so you can connect several engines and then have the Kibitz function where they would all watch the game and give their best thing. We can couple the private machines easily for joint analysis, etc., etc., etc. But the one problem I have with this thing is just because I use their GUI, just because I use a certain engine, I do not want to use their marketplace, their way of connecting it, because I want to have my, for example, if I'm a professional player and now I'm switching my mental model to a potential customer of the software I'm creating, I do not want to give away my tournament preparation. If I use one of those engines, then the provider of those engines will see which positions I'm analyzing. Maybe even the Fritz team or the team providing the software will see what I'm analyzing. Here I cannot really earn money. The providers here cannot really earn money with the engines because they earn like Dukaten here. This is an artificial currency provided by the provider of the software, and it cannot be changed back to euro. It can only be used in the shop of the provider of this software. So yeah, this is not a professional thing to do. If I want to provide a certain service, then I need a better tool. And I think there are providers, and they would like to have a better tool, maybe. I did not find any good thing public, so I don't really know, but I know this software has severe limitations and forces the user into some things that are not really good. And the next thing is, most of these are running on like real physical devices that are under the desk of the people providing them. Some are in a rack in the next room, and I would like to have I think a better solution is not to buy physical hardware for this, because if you see, there are like 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in use, which is less than a third of the total number of engines, and the others just standing there, and there are really, really powerful machines that cost a lot of money. So if I go by the list of the meganewtons they are capable of, those two are really, really powerful machines, and they are idle at the moment. Or maybe he's using them for something else while they are not calculating chess. But I must assume that they are idle at the moment. And this is not ideal. So what would be needed is a cloud-based thing. So some cloud computing provider where you can easily, very fast spin up an instance. And then you connect the instance with the running chess engine to your GUI, to your graphical user interface program, and then run the engine for your chess analysis or for your training as long as you like. And then when you're done, you finish it and you just close the engine, and Google or Amazon or other cloud providers will not take money from you in the time you're not using your instance. The next thing is, if you have several, like 10 cloud instances, and they have all chess engines on them, they could consult a common database, a common book. So, for example, this Shigi, the book that shall not be named, it's quite big. I think they found a new way to compress it. It used to be bigger than a terabyte, but I think now it's like a little bit over 100 gigabyte. And there's another database. It's the Lomonosov database of the Lomonosov University. It's like 130 terabytes with all 7-piece endings. It's really, really hard to say, yeah, I have the... It's really, really hard to say I have such a big database, such much storage, such much cost for a single instance of an engine. So if I have a cluster of engines and they are all running like their stuff and scaling vertically, but they all have the opportunity to contact one more server that provides a big book or a big database, then I think this would be really efficient. Okay, so the idea is to have a framework to easily access. Now we can write it down. So key features. Yeah, this is obvious now. So framework to have remote access to chess engines. Spin cloud server. Yeah, spin them up and also spin them down. Take them down really fast. Have a cluster. As I said earlier, this is not the transposition table, because the transposition table does not really scale well if it's distributed over like Ethernet or something like this. But a book or a database, endgame database, does. So yeah, this is the idea. Avoid the chess software marketplace. Have security. Yeah, another thing with security is this UCI protocol. So let's write some things about UCI. This works with standard in and output, console output. I think it's called std out, but I'm not quite sure. So to communicate. So when I share an engine here on the marketplace, and this engine runs here on my PC or on any Windows PC, I have some security concerns here, because there's a lot of raw UCI input going into that engine. And I really want to do things professionally. This means I have to set up a dedicated user, and I really do not want to have this on physical hardware, because if something bad happens, I can just take down the virtual server and no damage done. If I have it on physical hardware and I lose all my configuration, it's always more difficult to reconfigure and back up and reset a physical server than a cloud, some instance of a cloud engine. So where you have this platform, software platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. So potential security problem. And a local, because stdin and console output is local. So have security, have remoteness. I will have okay, this basically this remoteness is also a feature of this marketplace, but I would like to have a remote engine that I load like this. I will demonstrate and then I will write it down. Here I create an engine and then I tell them where the exe file of the engine is, and then I say, yeah, okay, basically that's it. And now if I click here, then I have another type of engine here to choose from. And now this process, this Chess GUI program, is communicating with the engine via standard input and console output. I would like to have the same thing or feature, but where I connect to a program, and this program is basically a tunnel to a remote instance where the engine runs. So this is basically the Fazit, the thing to take away from this. A virtual engine that can be selected from Fritz and any other. And connects to a remote engine on a cloud server. Okay, and this virtual engine also has some additional settings, parameters. So, for example, I could create it like this, that when I select it here in the UCI, then it loads some settings from a config file, and then it triggers the API of Google Compute Engine. This is the cloud service of Google. And then the real engine and the server for the real engine is created on the fly. And then the program switches into the mode where it just accepts commands, sends them to the engine, and in the end, when you stop your session or after a timeout, it shuts down the Google Cloud Server. And this would make it very, very convenient to have a very powerful engine, not to bother with your local PC, and to avoid the marketplace entirely. So this is the software I'm planning to do. Okay. Thank you for watching. I think let me see, can I find out? Yeah, we are now slightly above half an hour into the recording. Let's save the plan. See you next time. When I start the project, I will outline which technology I intend to use, which programming language I want to use. I will start the project in my IDE. I will talk a little bit about a CVS system, so the code versioning I will be using, and yeah, and get started with digging around a little bit, proof of concept programming. How do things work, trying things, reading a little bit into the documentation of the UCI protocol, and yeah, then I hope I get to some results, and it will be interesting for you. Okay, so that's enough for now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.